This is Eric Beyer of Old Vine, Texas, a new winery tasting room featuring 100% Texas wines from wineries all over the state. We are located in Mansfield, Texas, inside of Ancora Event Center on Broad Street. We have weekly tastings, charcuterie board to enjoy, live music, and a new wine club. Go visit our website at oldvinetexas.com to sign up for our newsletter and learn more. Or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Old Vine, Texas. We'll see you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Are you ready to pop your cork? In the left corner at 6'4", 242 pounds, with a record of 45-0, the undisputed.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Will.
Hey, how many bottles of wine have you had?
Well, Will, it's not the wine. I'm just so excited about the podcast.
Yeah, I am too. This is not a boxing match. This is Wino, Texas Vino.
So.
Welcome back, everyone, for part 2 of We Know Texas Vino, Texas Wine Lover Takes Over Kiepersol Winery. As we finish part 2, just as a reminder, on November the 9th, we will be at Cedar Hollow Winery for the second annual Veterans Day event from noon to 10 p.m. They are located at 540 County Road 698 in Farmersville, Texas. Then, on November the 23rd, Gainesville Wine and Country Festival. This will start at noon and run till 7:30 p.m. with the Light Combs Tribute Band playing. We will also be giving away free tickets to this event, so listen on how you can get your hands on them. Now, hope you enjoy part 2 of our show. Cheers.
Well, so
pack a lunch.
Speaking of how big Texas is, so y'all saw the news about a new AVA coming up. Mm-hmm. You know, not those 3. So you got Mason, and then
Hickory
you got Hickory Sands, and then you got the Davis one. Or is it Davis one, or that one that just got introduced out there at way West Texas?
Right.
So Mason,
Llano Uplift.
Yes.
Llano Uplift. I'm sorry, not Llano.
Yeah.
Llano Uplift.
So sadly, Kiepersol cannot. We're an estate winery. All of our grapes are grown here.
Yeah.
All of our wine is made from the grapes we grow. But because we're not in an AVA, we can't put estate on the bottle.
Right. Well, so what can we do to get?
Well, they're working on it.
Well,
I mean, I think the Salt Dome probably.
Well, I mean,
that's the uniqueness about what goes on here.
Well, so you can have all of East Texas as a piney woods, but have Kiepersol because of the Salt Dome have their own AVA.
I think you have to have more than 1 or 2 wineries. Actually,
More than one.
Be maybe 2 wineries on the Salt Dome.
I'll come up and one up right quick.
All right,
Okay.
you got it.
I'll just use Kiepersol wine and we'll just read it.
Wait, you were going to come open one in Abilene.
Okay. Can you explain what an AVA is to people that?
Good point.
Because I thought you were talking about a V8 coming out of Australia. And I was like, wow, cool, another police interceptor.
An AVA is an American viticulture area, AVA, and it is defined as a region which is specifically defined by its properties, the soil type, the climate, everything about it is unique to the area.
And does that include the aquifers that run below it?
It does, yes.
Because I know where we live, there are actually 2 aquifers below our property.
Oh, no.
And that's one reason our water table on our property is really high. Mm-hmm. And both of them service either parts of Texas or back towards Louisiana, but they cross over under our property in the maps of aquifers.
So. Right. And there are 8 AVAs currently in Texas. Now, there's 2 that are very close to becoming AVAs and a third that's on its way. So, yeah, we've got some amazing things going on here.
So the soil content and then the water availability kind of thing?
Everything about it, if it's unique. In AVAs, it's so important to remember, too, AVAs can be nested. So, for instance, right now, the original AVA was Bell Mountain. Well, Bell Mountain's a little bitty tiny AVA right in the middle of the hill country AVA. So, you've got things like that. It could be a specific little region that even though it's totally encased by another AVA, it's unique to that area.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Yep. And I think hill country is the only AVA that actually has like 7 different AVAs inside of it. And Bell Mountain was actually the smaller of the one.
Smallest and the first AVA in Texas.
Yeah. So that's
and it's the only one actually in the hill country AVA.
Yes.
So
yeah, it's so AVA is actually a big important factor for Texas and Texas viticulture. Just because that's how we get everything going on here for our wines and knowing what we got growing on. Mm-hmm. So we got a guest over here. We got a gentleman here. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Greg?
Greg, hey, welcome to the show. So this is a podcast on Texas wines. So welcome to our show.
Thank you.
So I guess you met my mom here.
Oh,
and she,
yes, I have.
She drug you over here. So
she did.
So you got a question for us, or you comment, or?
Well, mine's a comment because
Okay.
we just finished being educated about wines and everything. And my wife and I have been to lots of wineries in the United States, and it was all very interesting. But this winery was superb in what it could convey. Marnell, she explained all the little aspects of wine.
yes.
And I'm
Marnell.
telling you what, we learned a lot from her.
Awesome.
So we're very happy as we walk away, and we bought some wine to take home.
Oh,
Awesome.
Hey, that's
Well,
awesome.
So you know that Texas. So where are you from? Texas?
No, Texas is my roots,
Okay.
but we came from Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
So we're here for the week with my sister Kathy, who lives in Tyler.
Oh, okay. Well, in Texas we have like 600, 700, 900 wineries.
Say 520.
Just a few.
500. I'm trying to embellish this, okay?
Yeah, I know.
Just a few.
But depending on the articles you read online, Texas is actually the third or fourth in grape production and wine production.
I am amazed at how Texas not took over the wine industry, but really got very big compared to California,
Right.
all that.
Well, one thing that people don't realize is that Texas was making wine 100 years before California.
And now see, that was a fact I didn't know.
Did you
And I
also
grew
know?
up in Texas, in Houston, Sugar Land, that area.
Well, did you also know that Texas single-handedly saved the wine community
In
and the wine
France.
industry?
Yep.
Wow.
Yes. So by a gentleman by the name of T.V. Munson. He actually came down here. He got rootstock of different wild vines here in Texas, and
yes.
found that would actually cure a couple grapevine diseases. Send them back to Europe, and they grafted the vines off of that.
That's fantastic.
So
It
Texas is like epi.
Oh, there's no doubt Texas has quality wines, and we buy a lot of Texas wines. I mean, we're not particular to not to California or any other wineries, but we buy from Texas.
Awesome.
Because they're just quality.
Awesome.
Take plenty back with
Yes.
you because I believe 98% of all Texas wine is consumed in Texas.
Yes,
So
it
It's
is.
hard to find it outside the state.
It is. Actually, we had a gentleman the other day came in and said he wanted to find a Texas wine, and I said somewhere in New York, and I said, well, if you look in specs or something like that, you might find it in there. Very, very rare that you might actually find it at anything else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Have good. See, I love talking to people like that. They come in here and they've had a great experience at a winery, and like they're so excited about it, they want to share it.
Well, so what was the one word?
Marnell.
The experience.
And the experience.
The experience. So
Yes.
he was fortunate enough to catch Marnell, the founding winemaker,
Right.
who was doing the tours this afternoon, and she does a fabulous job. And
This is one of our better sections we've set up to catch people.
Yes.
We've been in other places where we're flagging them down and they just keep,
Yeah. Brian,
There's been a few people that are like, no, I'm not going to get on there.
or they're like, yeah, we know all about wine. Okay.
so, what else we want to talk about? I mean, we got so much to talk. Oh, you know what, Neil? You
How
actually
about
brought
dinner? I'm just kidding.
You actually brought a good topic up on our chat channel that we had. We talked about East Texas and West Texas don't get a lot of knowledge, or not knowledge, acknowledgement from us.
Because they're not 290.
Because they're not 290, and North Texas get not as much of the hill country, but they get quite a bit more. But there are such good wineries here in East Texas, and we're going to knock our microphones over, trying to cheers us.
Cheers.
I heard the clinking of
we
the
got a
glasses.
new one. We got a rosé.
Yeah, we got a
Dry
rosé.
rosé. That's
We
fantastic.
had to go backward.
The old triangle.
Uh-oh.
High school.
Hey, here's Marnell coming. We're going to
Marnell.
try to get her on her microphone over here.
Marnell, you got to come talk to us.
Come talk to us right over here.
I've slowed down enough. I'm so glad
Y'all are in for a treat.
You got a mic up so we don't.
We got-
We're in for a treat.
we don't have a headset for you, but
No worries. I can hear.
You
We
can
just
hear
had
us.
some very high compliments from one of the
Yes.
people who
From
just
your
did a tour
tour.
with you.
Okay.
Said you did a fantastic job.
so real quick, Marnell, can you introduce yourself for our listeners?
Yes, my name is Marnell Durrett. My sister Valmay and I own Kiepersol,
and we are kicking off 25 years this week. So it's been a week of it's been a week of celebrating for us, and we're excited to.
So does that mean all your wine's $25?
That means we added $25 for each year of struggle we had.
Oh, yeah. So that bottle of wine that you won for $18 now is $45.
There you go. No, just kidding.
I would pay it out here.
Thank you,
yeah,
Loren.
most definitely,
I will
100%.
pay it.
Thank you.
I know the minute I ran out of some Vit at my house, I was like, crap, now I have to go all the way to East Texas now to get my wine. Do I go visit my parents now or what?
Hey, if we keep him visiting you, then we'll keep you stocked with Vid, okay?
Okay, I love that idea.
I'm going to start a new delivery service called Wine Go.
There you go.
And you just load me up and I deliver it wherever you need to go.
Heck yeah.
We concluded,
Like FedEx for winos.
what was the number one reason why you like to visit certain wineries? And it was all about experience.
Yes.
It was about the experience, and then one of your wine tour folks came up here and said, "This is one of the this is the best wine experience I've ever had."
Yeah, like literally, that was the biggest thing he was bragging about is experience.
He couldn't wait to tell us.
And our tagline is experience excellence.
Yes. There you
So we try to evoke our passion. And in each of our kitchens, we have the fruit of the Spirit hanging up.
Mm-hmm.
And what does love require of us? And it's the fruit of the Spirit. And that's the core of our business model is our faith. And when you have Jesus and your passion at the center, hopefully excellence is ensued.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen. Well, so of all the 25 years you've been open and you've done this, what is the one wine that you've made that you wish you could remake again?
Oh, the one vintage.
Yeah, one vintage. Sorry, I mean use the proper terminology. I'm sorry.
Okay, so let me answer that question with a story.
I love it.
Would that be all right?
Yes.
So this is a story that my dad would tell me, and people. Dad and I did tours together a lot. So I say my sister and I own Kiepersol, and we are the second generation owners. Dad was the founder, and we're trying to not be the second generation that screws it up, but set it up for the third generation, if that makes sense. But there's a story he told about an 80-year-old farmer and a 90-year-old farmer, and they both step up. Greet each other, meet each other, and they've got their overalls on, and they're, standing there. Well, how long you been farming? Well, I've been farming 70 years. How about you? Well, I've been farming 60 years. And the younger one looks at the older one. He said, what year was your best year? And the older one looked back at him. He goes, let me think about that. Next year. So, is that a fair answer?
That is a fair answer.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
It's kind of like asking which one's your favorite wine, and then you turn around and say, which one's your favorite kid?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a very fair answer.
I think my personal preference, my taste, the style of wine that I lean to when I do drink wine, to drink it and enjoy it, which a lot of wine I consume when I'm teaching or talking or doing the wine making. So when it's about me enjoying the wine, from our winery is Barrel 33, hands down. It's the most balanced wine, especially to my taste.
I remember that one.
We're going to have to seek that one out.
Yeah, we had to seek
Which
that one out.
vintage?
Yeah.
Which next year, the next one.
It's our vintage.
Yeah.
Because
If you haven't tasted it yet, I'll be sure to get you guys a taste of that. It's excellent.
I'm trying to think. Have I actually tried that before? It sounds very familiar.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, Ron, we
33
need
has
to
a great
introduce
story.
them.
We'll get-
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, we have time.
The first vintage was back in 2000.
2005 was the very first vintage, and it was a vintage that was not for sale. It was just vintage that was gifted. And then when we had what we needed in the winery from the vineyard, we would produce a Barrel 33. So it's not produced every year either.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I know you're busy and don't want to. But could you tell the Barrel 33 story?
Yeah. So
It's a good one. It's good.
Yeah, it's a story, so it'll take a minute, but in 2004. It was the 2000. I want to say it was 2006 is when it was. I was topping barrels. We were still in this building. We hadn't moved to the other building. We hadn't even opened KE Cellars, which was a little winery in town. And it was small production. My dad had a business called Agdiprof, and he was growing grapes for institutional investors and doing other permanent crops. So he was actually growing grapes up in Washington State. And one of the first wineries in Washington was Leonetti Cellars, or is Leonetti Cellars, and they're one of the first cult wineries. So Leonetti opens their doors once a year, sells everything as futures, and then closes the doors for the rest of the year. They make amazing wine. You had some...
Well, no, I've never heard the term cult winery.
Cult wine, yeah, like Screaming Eagle's a cult winery. So, yeah, if it's all sold in futures and it's hard to get your hands on it, it's a cult winery.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah. So, Leonetti actually bought some of my dad's grapes that he was growing up in Washington State. And so we'd been in the business 6-7 years, and I was excited because he was excited. One of the best wineries in the U.S. reached out to him, wanted his fruit. And because of that, because he was a grower, he had the opportunity to purchase some Leonetti. So have you guys ever seen the movie The Gods Must Be Crazy? And they're all hovering over the Coke bottle,
yes.
You know?
Yes.
So he gets the Leonetti, and he brings it in. It's brought in, and we're opening it, like looking at something, because we're in the business, and we're not exposed to $100+ bottles and the packaging, and our budget's pretty low here, and we're looking at this, and we're oohing and awing as we're unveiling this box of Leonetti, this case, and we open up the wine, and we're sitting there, we're looking at it, and he pours the wine into our glasses, and it's ink. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And I'm still happy. Excuse me, I'm still excited.
Do you need some wine?
Yes.
Momentary pause while we...
she needs some wine.
I've been touring today. My
Marnell.
voice has been... So, we're opening this case, and we got the wine in our glasses, and... all of a sudden, I get a different emotion. I'm not happy for Dad. I'm not excited about the wine. I'm straight up jealous. I mean, the green monster has taken over. So, okay. I'm tasting it. And you know your kids. You know when they're being a toot, you know. And I think my dad sensed my energy and picked up on the green monster. And I'm holding the wine up, and it's gorgeous. And I'm smelling it, and Dad goes, "What do you think? What do you think of the Leonetti?" And I'm like, "It's okay." It's just a brat.
Yeah, I was about to say being a brat.
Yeah,
yes.
just a brat. And Dad said, so here's how you know you got a good dad. He knows when to push and when to pull. Well, he decided to push. He twisted the knife. He goes, "Man, I wish we can make wine like this." So
he threw down the gauntlet.
He did.
He threw down the gauntlet.
Okay, life goes on. He puts the rest of the Leonetti in his cellar, and it's a few months later, and you don't forget. You don't forget what the standard is or what you're trying to attain. And when you least expect it and you're not thinking about it, God tends to provide. So here we are. Well, my sister and I are in the winery. We're topping. And the way we topped was we had this mixing bowl, and we'd open every barrel. We didn't have a topping gun like we do now and a whole system set up. So it was very hand done. And when you top barrels, it displaces the aroma coming from the barrel. And the barrel room smells fantastic. So I'm at barrel 32. Topping it. Well, we had at the time used barrels. I had some used Franciscan barrels, some from Trefethen vineyards, and this was a Franciscan barrel, and it happened to be our Merlot that was in there. And it was barrel 33, and I'm topping. I'm like, oh my gosh, the coffee and the raspberry is overpowering. Why is this Merlot smell so different from 32? I opened 34, and it's not the same. So I stopped topping, and I go get a thief, and I pour some, and it's inky. The tannin structure in that barrel, something just jived, and it just works so well. And so the little devil popped up, and the little angel popped up. The devil says, hey, Marnell, go down to Dad's cellar and get a bottle of Leonetti. And the angel's like, you better not. I called Dad. I said, Dad, where are you working today? What you doing? And he said, I'm at the welding shop. And I said, how long are you going to be there? He said, well, we're working here the rest of the day. And I said, okay. So coast is clear. Go down to the house. I get his bottle of Leonetti, and we still, when you go in the winery, in the tasting room, you'll see the Leonetti that I took and all the subsequent barrel 33s. So I take Leonetti, and I bring it up to the lab, open it, and I'm like, yeah, inky. Okay, we're getting there. I'm smelling ours. I'm smelling Leonetti. I'm like the deep, dark coffee, dark raspberry. The Leonetti's got a little bit more hints of complexity, a little bit more herbaceousness in there, but I'm thinking we're in the ballpark, we're right there. So I called Dad up again and said, hey, can I bring you a tasting? So I pour the wine in 2 Erlenmeyers. He goes, what are you working on? He goes, I thought you were topping today. And I go, I wanted to work on a blend. I just want to know which wine you like better. So I'm trying to get my redemption here, right? So wait, step up. He had a Chevy Avalanche, and you pull the back open. There were these little cup holder things in it. So put the Erlenmeyers down, put the glasses down. The left glass, I pour the Leonetti. The right glass, I pour the Kiepersol Barrel 33. And said, Dad, just don't tell me what you think it is. Just tell me which one you like better. So he's tasting, sniffing, swirling, swooshing in his mouth, and he's thinking. And he goes, I don't know what you did. And he pushed the Leonetti back, and he pulled the 33 forward, and he goes, this one's a little less bitter. I like this one better. I don't know what you did to these two. And then I was like, Dad, that's Leonetti. This is barrel 33. And his reaction was, my Leonetti? But my Leonetti? So I said yes, and the dust settled from, I went down and took his Leonetti. And
you had to explain that.
So then he says, he looks at me, and he goes, I got my wish.
Wow.
So barrel 33 is labeled Texas Wish.
Yeah.
Nice.
So fun story.
Fantastic.
And sometimes you don't know what motivates you to pick out or to focus. What quality are we focusing on? And the wine would have been there the whole time, but had I not been looking, I wouldn't have found it. So the push was focusing on what we want to attain, the goal we want to achieve. So now we don't make 33 every year. Obviously, the initial 33 was from barrel 33, but now it's a stylistic blend. So we've determined what constitutes barrel 33, and it's the dichotomy of wine. So we want it to be as rich and as full-bodied as it possibly can be, with as many layers of flavors from the varietals, from the red fruit, black fruit characteristics, and delicate oak flavors. And we want it to be as tannic as possible without the bitterness. So the essential description of barrel 33 is that it's a warm, weighted velvet blanket for your soul. That's how you feel when you drink 33.
I just had a big sigh right there.
It's like, oh.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for sharing that.
That's
great.
Yeah,
I love that story. And
so an applaud on a podcast.
Yes.
And
That's
I
an
don't
amazing
know
story.
what all you know about me, but that story right there has even just added more fuel to my winemaking experience.
Okay.
And so everything I've taken from my making experience, I've taken from different stories like that right there, and want to do something like that to incorporate into my wine. I want a story to go with what I'm making.
Yeah.
And that is just such an inspiring story.
Yeah. the thing about wine for me that I've learned in the last 25 years is knowing what the outcome needs to be. It's easy to make wine and go, I wonder what this is going to taste like, or to know how you want to direct it and what the vineyard is capable of.
Right.
So,
yeah.
It kind of sounds like a line from The Gambler, know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
That's right.
Or harvest them, actually.
Potato, grape. How do you say that? Grapevine? But never mind. Tomato.
That's a neat story.
I appreciate y'all letting me step in.
Yeah, thank you.
I know
you
it's a
got stuff to
pleasure.
do.
Thank you.
Pleasure having y'all on the property. And I don't
Thank
know
you.
whose water I drank, but thank you.
That's community water.
Just make it into wine, we'd all be happy.
Thank you, Marnell.
That was awesome story that Marnell just got to share with us.
They've got
Never
such an
get
amazing.
tired
Yeah,
hearing that
you
story.
can't get. You can never get tired of the story of Kiepersol.
I will just tell you this.
Ever.
Marnell, for my 70th birthday, gave me a bottle of Leonetti. I think it was 2008, so it was 16 years old. And I researched it, and actually Leonetti can age for 30 years.
Wow.
It was an incredible, and it was my birthday, so we didn't have a fist fight over it. But the last last glass of wine out of that bottle, we were pretty aggressive about who got it. So,
wow.
I'll throw down over some wine.
Well, now that she made that mention of Colt wines, it's okay. We got more wine. I mean, I'm sorry that was the last rosé there, and you didn't get any because you were double fisting other stuff.
not out yet.
We can stop using
I
double fisting.
But when she said Colt Winery, I've never heard that term before.
Try getting a bottle of Screaming Eagle. Or Eagle. It's no way. So you have to know somebody. You have to have been on a list. Your grandkids need to be on that list. I mean,
So wonder if I can.
Oh, is that kind of like getting like Packers season tickets or something, where it's like grandfather
Pappy's?
did, and you've got to know.
Is it Pappy's or?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a cheesehead, but I just know season tickets. It's like you've got it.
If you're referring to Pappy Van Winkle,
Yeah,
it's
Pappy Van
pretty much the
Winkle.
same type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah.
a cult following.
What if I became a cult following wine?
Good.
We'll be some of your first supporters.
I mean, I could make
I don't
it
know
very
about
limited.
being part of a cult though, but
Oh, you're gonna be a part of a cult. We're gonna be in a nice little house.
I don't know about a
Can't
cult.
leave the house.
I don't know about a cult, but
Oh man.
Well, how about that for a treat?
That
I
was
know
a
that
treat.
was awesome. The story out. You just can't beat the story out here.
Yeah.
You just can't.
So
You can't.
go ahead, Ron.
No, I say, fortunately, living out here and doing tours and being involved, Marnell lets me be as involved as I want to be, and you can learn so much from this story.
Oh, yeah.
This is I love to tell the backstory of Kiepersol.
Yeah.
Well, and it's
goes
a
back
first
to the
time visitor
family.
here, Ron. I have to say we really appreciate your carrying that story along and giving it to us. It's really been a special treat.
He has a definitive passion for this.
Let me
You
tell
can
you,
tell.
describe what a good day is for me. I just mowed the yard. I'm soaking wet with sweat. I've got a beer I haven't opened yet.
All right, so
About to sit
remind
down.
me when I post production of this, play some like seductive music while you
And the phone rings, and Marnell and my conversations usually go like this. I see it's Marnell, and so I go, "Hello, Marnell," and she says, "Hi, Ron. What you doing?" And I always say, "Nothing," because I know the next question's going to be, the next statement will be, "I'm at the barrel room tasting a red blend that may be the best red blend Kiepersol ever had.
Can you come
and
down?"
taste it?" And I said, "Marnell, I'm in the parking lot already. I'll be right there."
You see Marnell's name when you're like already in the car or driving
You
over.
never want to say I'm busy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a no, but that's an honor. That's an honor.
So we just drank a rosé.
Yeah, we drank the Rosé Reserve.
The Rosé Reserve.
Ah.
I love that.
That's why Lorinda got excited and we drank it as fast as we could so she couldn't have any.
And next up
No.
would be
I love that one.
This is the Syrah.
just Syrah.
Just the Syrah.
So I will tell you, Syrah, Merlot, Cabernet. We're looking at the vines right here. Vintage, year in, year out, are always very, very good.
We had some of this on the tasting earlier, and it's
Yes.
amazing. Very good.
It's amazing. looking at the different grapes. When you pour a glass of wine and you look at it and you look at the color, like, okay, so right now we had the sun blasting down right on us. So actually putting the glass up into the sun, you can actually see the real good colors out of it.
Yeah, you have a halo over your head right now.
Yeah, that's a picture for
I mean, I am a saint.
That is not an angel halo.
I am a saint.
That is not an angel halo. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, yes.
That's pretty.
I love.
Cheers, folks.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, cheers.
Yeah, cheers. We didn't wait for Lorinda.
No, we can't wait for
How
Lorinda.
rude. Man.
All right, let's do this again for
Two
Lorinda.
glasses behind us.
Being the only female out here is rough.
She has 2 glasses, but I think she's slower.
You're holding your own well, I have to say.
That's all right. I'll get y'all all. Look at all y'all.
Are you okay? They're going to be.
So if you
I'm
ever
good.
get a chance,
I'm good.
they occasionally do a vertical tasting, which
The verticals out here are
so they-
amazing.
A year ago, we did verticals on Syrah and Cabernet with Jeff and Amy Neiman.
Mm-hmm.
My first-
and they were fabulous.
My first trip out here,
It was Merlot.
my very first trip out to Kiepersol was because I had met Ron through Texas Wine Lovers. And we were looking for something different to do. Well, I was looking for something different to do. And we ended up deciding to come out to Tyler. And it was me and my mom. And it just so happened that it coincided with a Merlot vertical that they were doing out here. So
I think I pitched it to you.
You
because
did.
I was trying to get. I had. When you do a vertical, you got to have 11 or 22 here because of the bottles, and you're going back historically, so you.
and that was like,
Sometimes there's
what
not
did
many
we do,
bottles
10, 11 years?
But I remember asking your mom if she
Ma.
was excited about it. She said, "Well, I'm not really a red wine drinker, right?"
At the time, yeah.
So what did she say after?
She was like, I'm afraid I'm going to end up horizontal after the vertical.
So we had 10 years of Merlot.
Yeah. And Marnell was so gracious. They made sure that there was like,
Every year, she talked about the weather, the crop.
yes.
Did you ever get a chance to do a Kiepersol
The
vertical?
Kiepersol vertical is such a treat. We did the Merlot that year. I've been back and I've
did the
done.
Cab and
I've been back. I've done the Cab,
Syrah.
the Cab Sav. I've done the Syrah, the Barrel 33. It's like it is
forgot about that one.
such a treat.
I've never done a vertical yet at all.
Oh, it's amazing
And
out here.
Every time I see one come up, it's a day that I can't do it.
But who can do a 10-year vertical?
Yes.
Well,
wineries.
Not many can.
Yeah, not
many.
not
You
too many,
can.
but-
There are not many wineries.
Yeah,
that have
not
10
many
years
can.
of history.
But here's what
You're
I've
going to
got.
spit. Yeah, I mean, you're better off if you spit. But,
No.
I mean,
Oh, we're talking about 10 days.
You know what? That's a good topic. We'll talk about that in just a second.
Oh,
But you know what? So in my collection, in my wine drinking so far, I started my wine drinking at Landon Winery, and I've actually got a 17, 18, 19, 20 Cab Franc. I didn't get a 21,
oh, you
And
need
I've
to
got
have
22.
a vertical and invite me.
so I've got those at the house right now. And Lorna just self-invited herself to a vertical.
I did because I love Cab Franc.
But you actually brought a very good topic up there. Why do you spit wine during a tasting?
I don't understand
it's
that.
personal preference. I mean, if you're going to go through 10, 12, 14 wines, you're going to spit.
Well, if you're doing a judging, you need to spit.
If you're judging, you have to spit. You're not going to go through 80 to 140 or more wines in a day without spitting. You're going to die.
You know,
You're going to get alcohol poisoning. Yeah.
So y'all know Tiffany Toby, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I've judged with her several times.
I love talking with Tiffany. She is such an amazing woman, and she's come a long ways in proving that a woman can be a great somm. Okay, and she and I was talking. What? She's
You're going to go there.
What does that have to do with the sex?
Well, hold on. I'm
About
getting there.
female, male, female. Okay.
No, I mean
Okay.
because somms are mostly a lot of males that are in the industry, like a lot of stuff. But she's really good. But it's a different topic, different day, different show, different podcast.
He's digging that hole.
But she was telling me that one time she was doing a judging over in Arlington, I think, last year.
Probably, yeah.
And she said that there was a guy there doing a tasting or doing the judging, and he was drinking everything. And so his scores were like so skewed because
He blew his palate.
He blew his palate out, and he was like, he was getting everything a 10. And she was like, some of those that shouldn't even gotten a 1.
To blow your palate is, i.e., you drink too much, then you don't even really know what you're tasting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting that when you do a tasting or judging, you got to spit more than you got to actually drink.
You have to.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
So how many? So with that being said, how many competitions have y'all judged?
None.
No, really? Seriously?
I'm a avid wine consumer. I'm not a professional.
Marnell's wines one at a time.
I judge each one as I drink them.
I know Neil's done a couple of them because
I judge every bottle I open, and I love every one.
I love it.
Okay, that's fair enough. We'll leave it at that, and we won't say any more. So, is there any other topics y'all want to cover? I mean, we've had a great conversation
Come a
here.
long way, haven't we?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we've only been recording for like an hour and 45 minutes.
That's all.
Yeah.
And who would have thought, passing by us, interested in what we're doing, was Marnell Durrett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
I love
think
Marnell.
They were the 27th. I don't know. They were in the top 40 wineries to get their license in the industry.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
you know what?
Did they not just win the 2024?
I meant to ask her that, how she feels about winning that saddle this year.
Yeah.
They are the
That's
number one wine in
huge.
Texas.
Honestly,
Let's talk about what do you mean? What's the saddle? Go ahead and describe it.
So,
tell your listeners what you mean by that.
It's called the Houston Chronicle, correct? Okay, so the Houston Chronicle, they have the Stock Show and Rodeo there in Houston, and it's probably one of the bigger esteemed wine judging competitions here in Texas. And in Texas, we don't give out trophies. We don't believe in trophies. We believe in belt buckles and saddles. Okay,
There you go.
and
Texas.
so if you get, and I don't know how the award works to get the saddle, so I don't know that part.
Well, you submit your wines, and the wines are judged, and then there's a formula based on how many wines you submitted versus what your ratings were, and so just because you submit more wines doesn't make it advantageous. But I think Kiepersol submitted 6 wines, and they won the saddle.
They got the saddle.
That saddle is like
That's very well deserved.
They got it this
prestigious
year,
award.
and the first year they got it was 2017, and I think there are only 4 wineries that have won that award more than once.
That's
That's really
Pedernales
It's
is
one of the biggest awards you can receive here in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, you got some big competitions out there in the U.S. You got the San Francisco and so forth. The saddle is a big deal.
I mean, who cares about the San Francisco Chronicle, But I mean, Pedernales, when I was out there doing Pedernales, they had 4 saddles. So I mean, it's an esteemed thing. It's bragging rights. You make wine and you win competitions. You get the saddle. That's like you walk around popping your collar and you're like, yes, I got the best wine here in Texas.
So if you do my tour at Kiepersol, you probably will be reminded maybe 4 times. Oh, did I tell you we won the saddle this year?
Just 4 times?
Yeah,
That
maybe
brings-
just 4 times.
That brings up a good question, though, and
Okay.
I've talked to some of the winery owners about this. It's like, do the medals dictate what you do?
Oh, that's a good. Oh man,
So let me say this.
deep topic.
I will go into a winery and I will look for the medals because my focus would want to be on, so what are your award-winning wines? Which area, what direction? I once went into a winery and I asked that question and they said, Google it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
not.
a good wine experience.
So that's
not a good wine
okay. That
experience.
was not the
Yeah.
appropriate
In other words,
response.
she had no idea.
But I'm like,
Did she know what the word varietal meant?
Maybe not.
But I mean, does the winery having some sort of a competition medal
well,
sway
It is
you
a-
to go or not go? I've had this conversation with many winery owner or winemaker, and it's like, I'm like,
But
oh.
do you have to have a medal to say that your wine is good and accepted?
No.
But it
No.
is.
No.
It's like having a college degree. You have to have a college degree to be
No.
successful. But
No.
it does say something.
But does it sway you? as to where you go as a Texas
No.
wine consumer.
It
If you're heading to a new area, do you look for some place that has?
Not where I'm going, but
doesn't-
maybe I saw their awards and it got my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
so-
doesn't define where I want to go because they have certain medals. No.
Yeah.
But it means something. I mean,
When
it
you
really
get there,
does
what do
mean
you
that
wanna
a
taste?
panel
But
of judges
it's
said
so
your wine
subjective.
was a gold, silver, or bronze.
It's so subjective.
Here's
It
what I'm
is.
going to say
Very
about
much.
that. I mean, there are wineries out there that are really, really good who don't go and get into these competitions.
Absolutely.
And
Well, they
have
can't
amazing
afford
wines.
to.
Yeah. Well,
And
it's not
may
that they
not
just
think
can't.
that it's any value
Yeah,
for
let-
them to do so, but it really doesn't mean that
Well,
the wines don't rate.
mean,
the
so
medals.
one
They
of
just-
them-
they elected not to.
Yeah.
To support.
I never realized the commitment that was
Yeah,
required
it is.
to enter into some of the competitions, and I don't know that everybody realizes
let me
the,
give an
the
example.
commitment.
Jeff and I were at Twiga in first of the year, and we're at the reception, and 3Ps donated a case of your
Cab
precious
Franc.
Cab Franc.
Cab Franc.
Yes, I'm
Calm
gonna say
down
it.
there.
Cab Franc.
And we're drinking it, and Jeff says to Brent, "This is very good." He goes, "This has characteristics. If you're a hardcore, I don't like Cab Franc, you would like. If you're a hardcore, maybe not." He said, "You ought to enter this competition. You'll get a medal." And Brent said, "Yeah." He enters and gets a gold medal, I believe in Houston. Well, unfortunately, the next time I went there, he sold out. Why? Because
He had to
got a
probably
gold
give it.
medal. And
Right.
everybody said,
They're very, very good for marketing. And
It is.
That's really what they're about.
That's
They're
what it's all
for
about.
marketing.
It is,
And
but the commitment to
they-
enter. The commitment to enter is
And I
huge
think-
for the little mom and pop shops.
They
I think it
mean
goes
something,
back to-
but it really does. It doesn't mean necessarily that someone who doesn't have a medal
"Yeah, that's right.
doesn't
exactly
rate one.
right."
because
Right.
Let's look at
Right.
the commitment that a winery has to put into a competition. They've got to submit anywhere from 2 to 4 cases sometimes.
Right.
Well, that's a huge investment to have
Right.
to make.
Well,
It
let's
is.
talk about. And correct me if I'm wrong on this. TF Vineyards, and what's the other one that Friday?
Casual Friday.
Casual Fridays.
Right.
I don't think they've actually
No, I
done
don't
any
think
awards.
either one of them
But you
have.
know what? They've got amazing wine.
Their wines are fantastic.
They're
So
fantastic.
I think it gave Brent at 3Ps
You're talking
a lot of confidence. Like, wow,
Right.
yeah, I make gold medal wine.
But the commitment to enter, I never realized the commitment requirement.
Right. They could be anywhere from 4 bottles to 2 cases.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you're
Or more
if
to
you're a
enter
little
it.
mom and pop shop,
Yeah.
I mean, two
cases
cases is a lot
Two
of
cases
wine.
is $30. You know.
But that's
Well, you know-
but that's marketing.
But to me, I'm like, is an average consumer, and even today, I'm like, I never realized what was required of that.
Right.
Me, I don't care. If you got medals, you don't have medals, I don't care. Now, that's not to say if I go somewhere and you have a medal and it's a wine I might not typically drink, if you've won a medal for it, I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and try it just
Google that.
because.
Let me Google that.
Let
I think
me- let me
it goes
try
back
it.
to the story of the king's clothing. You know, and he's going down the street in just his underwear, but everybody's saying, "Oh, you look so fantastic."
I
And
never
then
heard that
little
one.
Kid says, "But you don't have clothes on." So the same thing with the medal. No, seriously.
I haven't heard that one.
You win a gold medal and you sell 3 cases of wine. Does that mean it's fantastic?
Yeah.
Well, it means that particular wine won a gold medal.
I just know
Is
that-
the wine you want to drink when you go to see so and so.
That's a conversation I've had with a lot of winery owners. It's like what value is there? But to me, it's like I didn't understand the commitment that was required of the wineries to enter into some of these competitions. And like I said, when you're a small mom and pop, committing 2, 3, 4, 5 cases is like, that's a lot of wine.
See, a lot of people don't realize that either. Then they may think that
Exactly.
mom and pop, well, they've never entered a contest, whereas, Joe Blow over here, look at all their medals, but can Joe Blow create
Yeah.
18 cases?
I was like, oh, you probably send in a couple of bottles. And I'm like, to learn that, no, your commitment requirement is like cases and
Talking
not
state fair right there. Here's my
bottles.
bottle, judge me.
Yeah, there's
And
so
for the record, by the way, TF has entered competitions. I want to say they do have medals.
Oh, they have?
Yeah, they
Okay.
have. If you go out there, you'll see they're.
when I was out there, I never
Yeah.
saw them, so that's why.
they have.
Yeah, it's just, but there's some wineries that their big boast is, oh, I've won blah blah blah
Yes.
medals,
Doesn't
and
make the
I'm like,
wines good.
you can win all the medals in the world, but to me personally, if I don't have a good experience, your medals mean nothing.
Well, see, when you go back to marketing, another thing is like airlines, cars, I don't care what, they're going to say, look at our safety rating.
Right.
Okay, now you're thinking, when is that safety rating going to fail?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to say, look at the wines, look at the medals, and you get a drink and go, really?
Yeah.
I mean, my first bottle of Dom Perignon was supposed to be so great, and we were sitting there going, why is this so
Don's never been a great.
I tell you, I will say I'm going to give this Kiepersol Syrah
The
a
Syrah.
gold medal.
Cheers on that. This is awesome.
Yes.
Combined their basic Syrah,
Yeah,
Merlot.
I don't know. That's just something I thought of because that's a conversation I've had with several of the smaller wineries.
And you know what? And when you brought that up right there, I'm sitting here looking at the bottle sitting across the table. Okay, so I said bottles. Okay,
Bottles.
so we
plural.
have different colored bottles that we put wine in. So whites usually get a clear bottle, rosés usually get a clear bottle, and then our reds are usually a green bottle.
There's a lot of green there.
Yes, a lot of green there. Or
But we left the whites up at the tasting room.
I'm okay with the clear bottle.
yeah, but I mean, so some people have asked me, why does certain wines get certain colored bottles? And so we're going to first let Robert answer because he raised his hand first.
Oh, he raised his hand.
Filters,
and filter.
filters the ultraviolet light. That's why the best beer comes in beer cans.
I don't
I'm
like.
just saying.
I don't like beer from a can. I want my beer from a bottle or the keg.
Everybody wants
So-
a long neck, but I'm just
Okay,
saying.
so you actually had a good point. Also, bottles, bottle styles. I mean, because so right now we got
Yes.
traditional 750 milliliter bottles that are the long necks, short shoulders. Okay,
So the we drank an Edelweiss, and the Edelweiss was the
was
Yes,
a
that was-
champagne
Too
style.
many non.
That's a fun topic. People
Yeah.
should pay attention to what kind of bottle the wine comes in.
You
because
wouldn't think
it's
about
fun
that.
to track. If you've got a very long, narrow bottle, you're probably looking at an Alsace style bottle. If you've got a big fat bottle at the bottom, totally different. It's fun to track. Learn
is.
about it. Go out and
Who's
research.
got a-
Why do I have
Who's
this?
got a wine fridge where it's hard to
Oh,
fit
yeah.
in?
Those-
got the big
Well,
fat bottle.
that's where
Rhone
you like
blends,
turn them
yeah.
sideways and
Yeah.
stack them in the bottom.
Those Rhone blends are only going to fit in a certain way, and that's why it's
We went to Paso Robles with one of Jeff's wine cases that's supposed to hold 12 bottles. Right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
You could put 9 in there.
Yep.
And then you're exceeding 50 pounds because the bottles are very heavy.
So that's my deal. It's like, why is it that some of the wine bottles are? I'm going to call this average. I don't know which the technical term
Yeah, I don't
is.
know what those are called.
But then you see some that are like that, but the glass is like way thicker and they're like
But do you even
double
care?
the weight.
I don't care.
Why?
Google wine bottles.
So
That's what I'm doing right now.
actually,
Yep, there's a lot
I
of
don't
them.
care from the wine perspective, but I care from the cost perspective of shipping.
Yeah.
Yep. Look at the history of the wine bottle. It's
like
a fascinating history. It
it's
really
like
Well, you
when
know
you
what? Let's
when
talk
you
about
get it.
that.
is. Okay.
Let's talk about the little hole in the bottom of the bottle.
The punch.
Yeah, the punch.
That's what they call it.
So
That-
who invented that?
That's your. I don't know.
Napoleon.
Napoleon. Exactly. Napoleon actually invented that.
So
you know why? Because he wanted to be
Because he
able.
was short.
He had short fingers.
I said he had put his fingers through.
His little fingers.
Oh my gosh, I like that. Well, because he felt that the punch on the bottom of the bottle actually provided more
Strength.
strength to the bottle.
That makes more sense than.
And also, I think there was
I need to hold to shove my fingers so I can
Well,
pour it,
I mean,
not drop the
value
bottle.
of the quality of wine depends on the deepness of the punch. Yeah, it's crazy that's
Yeah. I mean, I've
think
tried
it's- I
using
think
that
it's
when I
just
pour my
marketing.
bottles.
When you go back
but
to packaging, though, on any substance, I've noticed. I'm not saying I'm experienced, but if you buy just funky looking bottle of alcohol, it's probably going to taste like junk because they want you to buy it, so they give you this fancy looking, maybe a machine gun shaped bottle of tequila, and you take it home and go, bleh. With the exception of cigars. If you buy a cigar, like there was a brand called the Merlin that was out there, you can't find it anymore. One of the coolest cigar rings that was out there. It was an awesome cigar. So packaging can kind of be,
Yeah.
but I like you saying functionality when you're shipping stuff like that.
It's like, yeah,
Well,
when you do
the
those heavy,
history-
thick bottles,
The
it's
history
like,
of the wine bottle style, though, really it's a fascinating topic in itself. And each of the different styles have their own history. There is a reason that they were done that way. But that's probably the subject for a different episode.
Yeah. I like that, the wine bottle shape episode.
I would love to know the answers to this.
I mean, the shape, I'm not so, I mean, the shape's the
champagne
shape,
bottles
but
are
it's like the weight. Because, you know,
Champagne
you get some that are I call it the average size, the normal size. But then you've got some that are the normal average size, but they're thicker. And it's like, what's the point?
So
Aside from me paying more for my shipping, which I will gladly do.
So here I'm going to go ahead and I actually looked this up, and I'm going to actually read the different bottle styles.
Okay.
It doesn't give us descriptions, but I will actually go the best that I can about what they are and what they do and stuff. Because there's a couple in here. I'm just going to hit a couple of them real quick. So the first one is the split or the piccolo. Okay, it is 187.5 milliliters, and it holds a quarter standard bottle or 1 glass of wine.
I think you're actually on
What?
the different sizes of bottles, not necessarily.
Well, I mean,
styles of bottles.
it's the different styles. It actually says the styles, but what they hold.
It's not a split.
Yeah. So this one is a half or a demi. It is 375. It holds a half a standard bottle or 2.5 glasses of wine. Or you got the half liter or the Jenny, which is a 500 milliliter that holds 2/3 of a standard bottle or 3 glasses of wine. And then you got the standard bottle, which is a 750 milliliter that holds 1 standard bottle or 5 glasses of wine. And then this is great, a liter. It's 1 liter. It holds 1 1/3 standard bottles or 7 glasses of wine. Or a Magnum bottle, which I've come across a couple
Which
Magnum.
we could have used today, honestly.
Oh, yeah. I was like, with the number, with all of us out here, we could have
One
used
bottle of wine
Magnums.
didn't go very
Yeah,
far
we
in
could have done a
us.
Magnum,
Yeah.
a couple Magnums.
Yeah.
So a Magnum is 1.5 liter, holds 2 standard bottles or 10 glasses of wine. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Jeroboam or double Magnum.
Whoa, my gosh.
yeah.
3 liters, 4 standard bottles or 20 glasses of wine.
That's what we needed today.
I don't even know how to pronounce this. Rehoboam or Jehoboam or Bardo, 4.5 liters, holds 6 standard bottles or 30 glasses of wine. So first off, I know a Magnum bottle. It's you can't see this, and it's about this tall.
Yeah.
Because Landon had a couple of those. Okay. I
We
can't.
do some of those.
How do you pour the big one?
Well, my question is this 4.5 liter? How big is that freaking bottle? Is that like 4 foot
How do you
tall?
pour it?
How do you pour it?
Honestly, I
You have
did
to have
one.
a cradle.
I did one, which was not the biggest one. I did a tour group that was here, and they invited me to their dinner to have they bought a Merlot, and I watched the waiter pour the. I mean, it almost took 2 people to pour it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You share what you got there.
Google wine bottle shapes. Yeah, what you're on is actually different sizes of wine bottles, all the way up to the big.
Yeah.
they've got
I
ones
think
about
when
5
I'm
feet tall.
I
you
think
know?
when I'm talking size wise is normal, but it's the thickness of the glass
Right. And that'd
of
be
the
wine
bottle.
shapes. You've got the Alsace, you got the Bordeaux, Burgundy, Champagne, Port, and Provence.
She has a question.
Provence. So
Oh, hang on.
We have a question.
All right, okay, so this is my mom
Get into
here.
the mic.
All right. Y'all have been given a lot of information, and it's been great, and I have loved listening to you. But also, I'm also thinking about the newcomers to the wine,
Uh-oh.
which is why we know Texas Vino. He is educating. So, if somebody wants to learn more about the wine,
Uh-oh.
where would they go?
Oh, Ron's got his hands raised.
Oh,
They
Ron's
would
got
go
to
to my
answer.
tour.
Well, yeah,
Because
your tour
They
is
would take
awesome.
Ron's tour at
1994.
I will
Kiepersol.
never miss the opportunity to say, "Are you looking for good Texas wines other than Kiepersol?" And then I will give them the app.
For
And
Texas
then I
wine
will
lover.
say, "Do you want to know which wine and wineries I'm visiting thing, let me do the share group, which now has 7,800 people
Yeah.
in it.
But I'm talking about
But-
how to distinguish, not everybody's taste buds are the same.
Yeah. Go ahead, Neil. You got
And so how do you learn to distinguish the flavors?
good question. Yeah, it's a good
your
question.
nose, the clarity of the wine. I mean, where would they learn to learn all
yeah,
that?
this is
Other than
good
taking a
question.
class.
Oh, man.
Excellent.
Look at there. Neil, you want to lead us off on that one?
Let me just start with where I would direct somebody first. The Wine and Spirits Educational Trust, or WSET.
What's it?
Yes.
Their level 1 course would be the perfect place to begin. If they were going to pursue just a basic introduction into wine, that would be a good course. It isn't one that you can do online or in a classroom situation. If you look at the WSET, I don't know what the URL is right off the top of my head, but if you look at their URL, you would find all sorts of places here in the U.S. that you can take that course. It would give you a very good introduction into wine at a basic level. What are the varietals? How is wine made? Things like that. They also have a WSET level 2 and level 3 and even advanced and a diploma if you want to go all the way to the top. So it would really carry you a long way. Now, let me also add, if you're interested in Texas wine, here we go.
Yes, that's
Here
a
we
different
go.
story.
Texas wine has some really, really great opportunities for people who would like to learn more about Texas wine history.
Yes.
And there's actually a good article out on Jeff's website that gives you a comparison of the different educational programs that are available.
Didn't you write that one?
I might have written
I
that.
think that was written by Mr. Neil
There
Addy
is
himself.
there is a very good program by Dr. Russell Kane at the Texas Wine School. He is based in Houston and also has classes in the Fredericksburg area. It is an exceptional course for learning about Texas wine history. He will also teach you about the varietals that are grown here in Texas, about the different Texas AVAs. There's also an advanced specialist of Texas wine history that gives you a much deeper introduction into the subject. I highly recommend both of them. Now, beyond that, you've also got an exceptional course that is presented right now by Kelsey Kramer at the Hill Country Wine Academy. And Kelsey is teaching a course called the Texas Wine Ambassador, which is a very good course. I highly recommend this, as well as Russell Kane's. Her course really is more about the application of service to wine to promote and advocate for Texas wine. And I would recommend
I want to do that one.
anybody. It is exceptional. I understand she's working on an advanced course that may be out soon. But by the way, the Hill Country Wine Academy also does have classes on the level 1 and level 2 WSET course. So those are where I would point.
Well, and
So you have, what's interesting is you have different levels of people wanting different levels of knowledge. So we had a couple of our folks that just walked up here. They're just wanting the basics, right?
Right.
So you just offered us many, many other levels as you progress.
Right.
And I'm going to give you an example. I did a wine tour, and during the wine tour, I had a young gentleman that got turned on to the whole winemaking. He's just got his license. He's going to be 99 to 1, like in horse racing. He's going to be a winery over here in East Texas. He's delivered me a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc and a Tuscany red blend. He got turned on by the whole winemaking process. So the knowledge he needs is the stuff you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He got enough in the tour.
He
to
was
say,
bit by the
"Wow,
bug."
I want to
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
I wanna
By the
do that.
bug.
And
Well,
he's doing it.
so
And I know someone else who was bit by the bug, and that's the person running this podcast.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
And I think you're going to have a party for us, and we're going to.
He's going to have a release party.
well, you know what? I may do that because
Yeah, you
my
should.
Tempranillo. I'm going to try to bottle my Tempranillo next month.
Yeah.
You
in
better
November.
send me a bottle.
Well, as my closest friends,
I'm going to be his biggest critic on that one.
I've already given it a gold medal. So.
Well,
I'm not a big Tempranillo I'm not a big Tempranillo fan.
My Tempranillo is I think for my first go around, I think it's okay. It's going to be from my standards. I think it's going to be okay. But
okay is a good start.
It's a good start. But my Alicante Boucher, my field blend that I'm working on right now,
that's what I'm interested in.
And then next year,
I'll host the party.
Yeah, we'll
are you
come
gonna
out
cook for us
here.
too?
Sure. You bring the wine.
Okay, deal.
Bring the wine, yeah.
He's got the pizza oven and the griddle.
No, I want steak and lobster.
There we go.
Well, he can do some steak. I don't know about lobster,
I'm
but
gonna hold you up to that.
I got it.
Okay. But I will say this: that right now I've already got 12 gallons of Alicante being doing secondary fermentation. My field blend that I'm doing right now also is going through secondary fermentation.
let's give a shout out to where those grapes came
Those came
from.
from Anthony Mosley over at Ready Vineyards.
Well, they came from Ready Vineyards.
Next year, I just picked up some tanks just recently, a lot of tanks. So I'm thinking next year, my goal is to try to have 4 or 5 different varietals going at the same
so
time.
Anthony would be at this party.
I'm going to hope
Let's
so.
get Anthony.
Yeah.
Anthony, you have to come.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Anthony, if you're listening to this, you're going to be here, okay?
He's me that guy.
Well, actually, my Alicante Boucher and my field blend is going to be a whole year before that's going to be ready. So
Anthony, you have to come anyway.
So, what do we?
I just want to point out the sunset here.
Yes,
because
It's absolutely
we're about
beautiful.
15 minutes from.
I just took a good picture of that. Well, I'm going to take another one here now.
So, did we answer your question?
Yes, you did. I mean, you're off. That was, a lot of people have come up here and asked.
Yeah.
Put me back on. A lot of people, they're new to it. I mean, I work with a bunch of young ladies that are just like I was before Will got in here. I drank sweet wine. Well, I have now learned how to appreciate the reds and the whites and the semis, dries and the dries. I mean, it took me a while to get onto the dry, but I do like some dries. And so that's why I was asking the question, because there's people out there that do want to know about this, but don't know where to go to learn about it, or don't know how to go about it, or they're intimidated about it. Because wine used to have,
California has made it pretentious and snobbery.
How can I say this? It had a standard where it's not for everybody. It was just for the elite people.
You like what you like.
Yes, and
you don't like what you don't like. And if all you like is sweet,
So I was going to
that's
say,
great. Texas has got it.
Just watched Marnell go by.
I know.
Say
It's a
exactly
Marnell.
that.
Yep,
So
right.
You like what you like.
sweet wine.
and you know what? It's a
What you
natural
like.
progression. A lot of people start on sweet, and then they move into semi, and then they're into dry. And you know what? I've made that progression. And you know where I am now? I'm back to sweet. I enjoy a sweet wine.
Neil?
I do not
Yeah,
mind
it
it
depends
at
on what
all.
Neil, so are you a sweet guy but not a sweet guy?
Well, I'm not all that sweet. It's a natural progression.
It's all.
Well, it
it is
is.
all a personal preference.
Until
There
you get
is
made fun of.
A lot of it is about pairing too. And
What's exactly.
going
Yeah.
on,
Wine
what the
is
weather
meant for
is.
food
Well, you
and
know,
friends.
Yes.
That's what wine is for.
I want a wine. I want a wine that I do not have to drink with food.
Yes.
I come home from work every day. Chances are, one of my first stops is to go pour me a glass of wine. Do I normally eat at night? Nah. I look like I eat at night, but I normally don't. But I don't want a wine that I have to necessarily have with food.
Right.
But you like what you like. You don't like what you don't like. And you know what? Texas has got something for everybody.
And you know what? There is no wrong answer.
There is not.
There's nothing wrong
There's
with
not.
anyone's purpose.
I like what y'all had said earlier. Y'all was talking about how a different region, they may grow the same grape, but it may not taste the same.
Yeah.
And so that's also something that people don't understand. Oh, I don't like a Merlot. Well, try a Merlot from a different winery.
I'm
There's a reason for that, though.
Yeah.
People go to a grocery store and they're going to get a wine.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That wine has been made to taste the same every year because they
Yes.
doctor that
Yes.
wine.
You know
what? And you know why?
That's your grocery
because they
store.
want it to be an $8.99 bottle that's going to be year after year
Yes.
the same thing.
Yeah. You know,
Texas is Texas. We grow great grapes. We do great wines, and every year is going to be different. And that's the beauty of Texas wine.
Yes.
It is. It's really the beauty thing
And that's
about
why
how the
you're gonna
culture
pay.
and stuff goes. I mean, that's what has been fascinated with me, learning about wine, is how the seasons vary in the flavor of the grapes.
So that
And people
Yeah.
don't realize
Well,
that.
you know,
So
one of the things
much.
I point up when I do my tastings in the winery is I tell people that if you get a California wine, and let's say you get a 2017 Merlot or Cab Sauv or Syrah, whatever, and you get a 2020 of the same varietal, it's going to taste the same. And they look at me and they're like, "Why is that?" I said, "Well, because in California,
Because it's
they're
mass
breaking it
production.
down to the molecular level, and they're rebuilding that structure the same way year after year after year. Because if it tastes the same year after year, you don't have to worry about is it going to be different when you go buy that bottle from the grocery store, from Specs or whatever."
And they're taking the lower quality grapes
Yes.
because they're high volume.
Yes.
They're going to produce 100,000 cases in a year.
Yep.
But
in Texas here, you know what? You can get a Syrah, a Grenache, a Mourvedre, Picpoul Blanc, whatever, and you can go and get the same grape year after year, and it tastes different each time you do it.
Well, and you're talking, and I hate to say this because it sounds so sweet.
I know I'm talking.
You're talking terroir.
Yes, and that's a huge topic right there. Oh my God!
It is, but that's where when you talk about Merlot, you know, I wasn't a big Merlot drinker.
I don't know if that'll
I
come
didn't
out.
care for it too much, but it's like when I came out here to East Texas, this area, the terroir, the grapes from this terroir, that's where I gained my appreciation for
Yes.
a Merlot, a Texas Merlot. There's just something about the soil out here, the growing conditions that
Yes.
made me
For those
really
of you-
like them.
For those of you who can't see,
Yeah, I thought to make that
everybody's busy
comment.
I know we're all like out taking pictures of the
If you hear all the
sunset.
bouncing around,
it's another reason to come out here to keep.
Just had a religious
reason.
experience.
Yes,
Yes.
not
But you can't-
a
beautiful
religious
sunset.
experience,
You
not
can't
just
go wrong
over
with a
the
Texas
Texas
sunset.
Sangio.
oh yes, yes. Well,
Beautiful Texas sky.
you know, we could sit here. What was you going to say, Ron? Yeah, I know. I'm looking at time.
problem.
It's time for us to kind of get ready for our stuff. You know, I really have enjoyed sitting here having this conversation with y'all, and we need to do this more often than once. In fact, actually, this is the first time doing this, so I think we should actually try to make this like a once a quarter thing, and we pick a winery and we go and do this. I'm being serious. You know, maybe we
I can give you a list.
Neil, I need you to turn around because
One more picture.
One more picture, right quick.
I want a vineyard sunset picture of
Do you
the
have two,
group.
do you have two glasses there, Lorinda?
I do not.
I got my.
Get your glass up.
You can't cheer on an empty glass. And we got pictures done.
Y'all, you
All
can't
right,
beat.
so-
You cannot beat
But
this.
I think we should do this more often. I really enjoyed sitting here talking with y'all. You know, we had a great conversation.
Well, and you're always going to run into at any winery the person like Farnell who
Yes,
stops by
right.
and gives you, oh my God, you couldn't have planned that.
Yes.
You
yeah.
could not have planned that.
What if we do the next one up in North Texas? We pick a
Yes.
winery. We pick it. What do we put a
Yes.
whole bunch of?
I'll give you a list.
There you go.
What if we put a name, all the names in a hat?
We're gonna have to draw it.
And draw
We're
it,
gonna
so that
have to
would be
draw it,
completely
'cause that's
random.
gonna be
I'll take
tough.
your recommendation.
It will be tough. There's
That's
some
gonna
good
be
ones.
tough.
Oh, there's some you know, because my choice would be Lonesome Vine, and you know that
Definitely local.
You're going my way. I was going to put them on the top
I'd-
5 for sure.
Oh,
I think
Edge
it's
of the
top
lake,
5.
Lonesome Vine. I would. Oh,
555.
yeah.
I was going to vote on Blue Ostrich
Blue
because I've never
Ostrich.
been there.
oh yeah, he's never been to the Blue Oyster either. So for the people who knows Police Academy,
You've
you know
never
that.
been to Blue. You've never been to Blue Ostrich.
It'd be super.
I'm so sorry.
And have been to and or okay,
gosh,
we've had.
I'm so
I've tried to take him
sorry.
up there because.
I love Blue
But-
Ostrich.
So let's go ahead. We're going to wrap this episode here. So we're going to real quick give out to a shout out. So who wants to give a shout out for Texas Wine Lover? Who wants to do that?
So we would, go ahead.
We're all pointing the finger at each
We
other.
wouldn't be here if Jeff did not have this vision.
Right.
And I actually met Jeff at Pierre's Remembrance Service. And he had just started drinking wine back in that era. But he had a vision of people who love Texas wine sharing that and making it easy to find those good Texas wines. And cheers to Jeff.
You're right. Cheers.
He's put a
And
lot of work
Let's
into
just
this
say
stuff.
Jeff was invited to be here tonight, but he couldn't because he had other
prior commitments.
events. And you know what? It's a matter of CBE. Can't be everywhere.
Yes, exactly.
That's all right.
But
We're here, and that's what
We're going to do this
matters.
again very soon, and he's going to be there with us next
You
time.
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so Texas Wine Lover is an
Yes.
amazing app. If you have not found it or you've not used it, check it out, TexasWineLover.com or Texas Wine Lover on your app store with iPhone or Android. Check it out. Great little app. You can actually filter out what you're looking for and get what you want.
I don't think you mentioned Texas Wine Friends, which is the share group.
I have not
They've
mentioned
You
that
got to
one.
be
Yeah,
on
the share
Facebook.
group.
Yeah.
But it is. I learned
That's-
more about what's out there. I was go, wow, I had
Yeah.
no idea.
And
That's
you got
where
people
I
like me who ask questions about winemaking all the time on
well,
there.
that's where I was first introduced to. That's where I found the Martins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their posts are what drew me and had my interest
And you
peaked
were
about
one of
coming
those
out
that
here
said,
to.
I want to do that.
Yeah, it's like seeing their posts. I was like, we need to go out there to talk. We need to go to that Kiepersol. That looks
Right.
pretty cool. We need to go out there. So,
Yep. So, and then my other sponsor is Fly with Wine.
yes.
Great little suitcase. You know, a case of wine. Go ahead, Ron.
Have one.
You have one? You love it?
Yeah.
Give us your testimony on that.
Well, I mean, the last time I came back, the darn wine bottles were too thick.
Well, you know.
So I got 9 of the 12 on, without going over the limit. But it's very, very, not only on the airplane, safe, but it also protects them when you're out running winery to winery and it's hot
Wow.
out. It does insulate them good as
Yeah.
well too. So we've enjoyed ours.
I've loved mine. In fact, actually, mine just recently came back from Australia. So one of the ladies over at Grapevine Visitor Bureau went over to Australia before Grape Fest, and she was trying to figure out how she was going to be able to ship wine back. And I was like, well, you can borrow my suitcase. I said, the only thing it'll cost you is 2 Australian wines. She brought me a Shiraz back.
Oh, Shiraz.
And I'm not a fan of Riesling, but she brought me a Riesling back, and she told me I had to try it because the guy over in Australia, known as the Riesling Freak, has 99 different flavors of Riesling.
Oh,
Wow.
So
Wow.
I've got a bottle of Riesling from Australia as well. So
That's a barter. I'd barter that trade any day.
Yeah. So, but those are my sponsors here. I'm working on bringing out some more sponsors. Also, coming up soon, I'm actually going to be dropping a donation onto our Facebook page, also on my website. This podcast, isn't free for me, and I do this out of the love of my heart. I love what I do here. I love the people I talk to. I love the wine that we do here in Texas. So I'm going to start dropping a donation thing out there. And if you love what I'm doing out here, please donate to this. I mean, whether it's $1 or $5 or $500, donate out there. It helps keep this alive. I mean, I'm not going to let this die down. It's just not going to happen. I mean,
We won't let
we
you
really
die.
appreciate what you're doing
Yes.
for Texas wine industry.
I appreciate it.
Keep it up.
I thank you. Thank you very much. I should have done my Elvis impersonation when I did that.
Thank you very much.
I've always got to end the shows with wine quotes, and for whatever reason, I didn't do my wine quotes for this week, so I had to search for something real quick. So I found 2 really good ones for this particular moment right here. Okay, so this first one goes, "The world of wine is the world of life itself. It presents you with every degree of emotions, from most joyous, ebullient sensations of well-being to, if you're unlucky, quite black periods of depression." That's from Julia Child. All right, and the last one right here, this is for all of y'all, my friends. "Here tonight, we'll remember with friends we'll never forget, and the wine that brought us all together."
Absolutely.
That is
Cheers to
one
that.
right there. So
Cheers to that.
So we're going to sign off a little differently today, since there's like 5 of us here, 6 of us here, and we're all going to break glasses on the microphone while we're at it. So first, Neil, go ahead and sign off.
I appreciate you putting this together today. This has been fantastic. Our first visit here today has been just mind-blowing. So thank you for putting this together.
You're welcome. Ron?
Thank you, Will, for all you do for the industry and for coming out and being probably the reason we're all here. It was a great day.
Yeah, it was.
Great day.
Lorinda?
And thank you, Ron.
Well, thank you, Ron.
Absolutely. Just, I don't know. I mean, thank everybody. This is, I know it's cheesy, but I don't know. Thank dude. He's so bad. Just thank everybody. I mean, the Texas wine industry is amazing. There's amazing people in the industry, amazing wine friends, and it's just like, get out, support the Texas wine industry.
There you go.
There you
Buy, drink.
Yes.
Just get out and support.
Yep.
Yes.
And Robert?
Oh man, I appreciate you bringing me in and meeting these great people. So
Oh yeah.
good to be a part of a family.
Yeah,
Good to
most
have you
definitely.
here, Robin.
And also,
It's a good family to be a part of.
It is. It is. And then this is Will. Oh, do you want to sign off, Mom? Since you, I mean, you know.
Gee,
you-
thank you. I mean, I know I didn't talk a whole lot on this.
Yeah.
I've listened to you. I think that this group, in my opinion, is what the wine industry is all about.
Mm-hmm.
It's about family.
Absolutely.
Texas friendly, Texas wine. You can't beat it. You can't beat the friendliness of the people. And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Excellently.
Absolutely.
And as I finish this off, it's great to be here amongst friends, amongst
Yes.
people who enjoy the same passion. That whether you're a level 3 Winset or a Somm or whatever, ultimately in the end we all have the same passion.
Or a two-fisted drinker.
Or two-fisted
A
drinker.
two-fisted drinker. I'm going to
change
get
Lorenzo's name
Is
to
that
that.
my new title
Yeah,
now?
that's her
The
new
two-fisted
title.
drinker?
So this is Will with We Know Texas Vino. Cheers.